What's up, guys? It's the Country CEO back in the house again. Man, look, welcome back to the channel, subscribers, family, and friends. Some of you had asked a question a little while ago about money to get started, and in light of things and the cost of things, then that number has kind of changed. And I thought I needed to upgrade the video about how much money you need to get started, right? I think at one time I was telling you guys 20,000, 25, maybe 30. And so as I look at the cost of things and how much they are these days, I think we may have to look at upping that number, right? And I want to give you some reasons why and examples of why that number has changed, right? First of all, these units here don't cost what they used to cost. Now, this is a 23, obviously. Those two are 20s. So they're used. This is brand new. It really don't matter either one you look at, because if you're just getting into the business, they're pretty much wanting 10% down. Some of you, depending on your credit, they might want 20. So example, this truck costs $230, $240, something like that. So 10% down would be $24,000. So if the down payment is 24, then you're going to need more than 20 or 25 or 30 to go into business, right? So that's what I'm talking about. All right. You found a used truck. If you do find a used truck, 160, 170, or just say 150. Those were more than 150. But if you find a used truck for 150, 10% would be 15,000. You know, for something like that, well, you know, you might could get by with 30. You know, you need another 15 to be on the safe side. So I'm updating this thought, and it does depend on whether you go new or used. But if you got to put, and these are the two examples I'm going to go off of, and you can kind of gauge what you're going to need based upon what I'm going to tell you. Obviously, if you're going to get a new truck and you got to put $25,000 down, then it will probably be also good to still have another $15,000 to $20,000 to start in business, right? Because you got to get the insurance, and that's going to be a lump down payment, right? And then road taxes, and then you're good to go. Same thing for that, right? So if it's a used truck and you got to put 8, 10, 12,000, well, you can have 20, 25 to start with that. To me, what I'm going to at least say is that whatever the down payment is going to be, you need to at least have double or almost triple that amount. So if it's going to cost you $10,000 down, you ought to be on the safe side, have 30 going in, you know. New truck, you ain't got to worry about some of the things that may happen with this. So on a new truck, you can put 25 down and have 15 or 20 to start with, because you ain't got to worry about nothing happening with this. Anything happens with this, they go to shop. But when you get used, you're going to have money just in case kind of money. All right, another reason why some of you may have to have that kind of money, factor this in. In your market, when you start working, you're going to need fuel. And then depending on when and how your customers pay in the area you in, going to determine how much you're going to have money for to last you until you start getting revenue in. Here in South Louisiana, you work this week, you get paid the next Friday, right? So the most you would need here in South Louisiana is to work 2 weeks. Work that week, first week, work that second week, but at the end of that second week, we call that a week in the hole, you won't get paid. But now, I know in California and different places, some of you guys on 30-day net, 45-day net, even some of y'all 90-day net. So the game is this. Factor all that in, find out in your market, hey, how do you guys pay? Call them contractors while you're putting all your research together. They need to be a part of your contract. That's game right there. Hey, how do you guys pay? Every week, every other week, every 2 weeks? Now, if they ask you, how do you want to be paid? Every week. All right, every week. Because that diesel, these drivers got to be paid every week. They looking for their money every week. Diesel got to be paid every week. And so you got expenses that are taking place every week. You get your money every week. You cooking with grease. That's a term from South Louisiana. All right, guys. That's all I got for y'all. That's how you figure out how much you're going to need to get started in the dump truck business. South Louisiana, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his right. And all these things should be added to you. I'm out of here. Hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. I'm gone.